After the age of 40, many people begin to focus on longevity in the wrong places. They search for rare supplements, extreme diets, complicated routines, and expensive health trends, believing that long life must come from something dramatic. But one of the most powerful longevity habits is almost invisible, and it takes only 10 minutes. It is the simple habit of walking after meals. A short walk after eating may be one of the most underrated tools for healthy aging because it directly affects one of the deepest drivers of long-term decline, blood sugar instability. Most people think blood sugar is only relevant for diabetes, but in reality, blood sugar regulation is one of the central pillars of longevity for everyone, especially after 40. Every time you eat, your body must process glucose, distribute energy, and restore balance. When this process becomes inefficient, the body experiences repeated spikes and crashes. Over years, these spikes create inflammation, damage blood vessels, strain the heart, and accelerate aging quietly. This is why metabolic health is so deeply connected to lifespan. The body does not age only because of time, but because of accumulated stress inside its systems. After 40, insulin sensitivity often declines. The same meal that felt harmless in your 20s may create a stronger glucose spike in midlife. This does not always show up immediately as disease. It shows up first as fatigue, cravings, brain fog, and subtle weight gain. But underneath, the body is working harder to restore balance. A 10-minute walk after meals changes this entire process. When you walk, your muscles begin to absorb glucose directly, even without needing as much insulin. This means blood sugar levels rise less sharply, and the body returns to baseline faster. This small shift reduces oxidative stress and lowers chronic inflammation. It is not dramatic, but it is powerful because it happens repeatedly every day after every meal. Longevity is built through repetition. The most effective habits are the ones you can sustain for decades, and walking is one of the most sustainable movements humans have. In the longest living populations in the world, people do not necessarily exercise intensely, but they move naturally throughout the day, especially after eating. They do not sit motionless for hours after meals. They walk, they talk, they clean, they move through life. Modern life has removed this rhythm. Many people eat and immediately return to sitting, screens, and stillness. The body then must manage glucose while muscles remain inactive. This is one reason metabolic problems have become so common. A short walk restores the ancient pattern the body expects. It is not about burning calories. It is about directing energy into muscle instead of leaving it circulating in the blood. Over time, this supports cardiovascular health, reduces the risk of metabolic syndrome, and protects brain function. The brain is highly sensitive to blood sugar swings. Repeated glucose spikes are linked to cognitive decline and accelerated aging of the nervous system. A post-meal walk is therefore not just a fitness habit. It is a brain longevity habit. It is also a sleep habit. Stable blood sugar during the day leads to more stable energy and fewer cravings at night, which supports better sleep quality. Many people struggle with late-night snacking or restless sleep partly because their metabolic rhythm is unstable. Walking after meals creates calm regulation. It tells the body that energy is being used, not stored in stress. Another important aspect is inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the strongest biological predictors of aging. Blood sugar spikes are inflammatory events. They damage the lining of blood vessels, and increase oxidative stress. Reducing these spikes through movement is one of the simplest anti-aging strategies available. You do not need intense workouts. You need small metabolic corrections repeated daily. Imagine doing this after lunch and dinner every day for years. The impact compounds. The body becomes more insulin sensitive. Weight becomes easier to regulate. Energy becomes steadier. Cardiovascular risk decreases. Longevity is not built through rare effort. It is built through daily alignment with biology. A 10-minute walk after meals is one of the clearest examples of this principle. In Part 2, we will explore how this habit affects hormones, appetite, fat storage, and why it becomes even more powerful after 40. To understand why walking after meals becomes so powerful after 40, it helps to look at what happens inside the body when we eat. Every meal triggers a metabolic response. Carbohydrates break down into glucose. Glucose enters the bloodstream, and the body releases insulin to move that glucose into cells. In youth, the system often works smoothly. But with age, especially after 40, insulin sensitivity can gradually decline. This means the body must release more insulin to achieve the same effect. Over time, higher insulin levels encourage fat storage, increase inflammation, and strain the metabolic system. Many people think aging weight gain is simply about calories, but it is often about hormonal efficiency. A post-meal walk is one of the simplest ways to improve this efficiency. When muscles contract during walking, they open pathways that allow glucose to enter without requiring as much insulin. This lowers the burden on the pancreas and reduces the intensity of blood sugar spikes. This is why even a short walk can have a measurable impact. Another common midlife experience is post-meal fatigue, sometimes called the afternoon crash. People eat lunch, then feel sleepy, unfocused, and heavy. This is often a blood sugar swing. The body spikes glucose, releases insulin, then drops glucose too quickly, leaving the brain feeling low on stable energy. Walking after meals smooths this curve. Instead of spike and crash, the body experiences a gentler rise and a steadier return. This supports cognitive clarity and emotional stability. Longevity is not only about living longer, but about maintaining mental sharpness and daily energy. Another reason this habit matters is appetite regulation. Blood sugar swings increase cravings. When glucose rises sharply and then falls, the brain interprets a drop as hunger, even if you have eaten enough. This leads to snacking, overeating, and a cycle of instability. A post-meal walk reduces these swings, making appetite calmer and more predictable. Over time, people who walk after meals often find that cravings decrease and weight becomes easier to manage, not through restriction, but through regulation. After 40, regulation becomes more important than intensity. The body responds best to stable signals. Walking after meals is also connected to cardiovascular longevity. The health of blood vessels is one of the strongest predictors of lifespan. Repeated glucose spikes damage the endothelial lining of arteries, increasing risk over decades. Reducing these spikes is a form of vascular protection. A 10-minute walk is not just movement. It is prevention. It is daily maintenance of the circulatory system. This is why the habit is so powerful. It acts on the root, not the surface. Another layer is inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation is sometimes called inflammaging because it rises with age and contributes to nearly every major chronic condition. Blood sugar instability is inflammatory. It increases oxidative stress and accelerates cellular wear. Movement after meals reduces inflammatory signaling. It is one of the simplest anti-aging interventions that does not require medication. It requires only consistency. Many people ask how long the walk must be. The answer is reassuring. Even 5 minutes helps. 10 minutes is excellent. 15 minutes is powerful. It does not need to be fast. It does not need to be sweaty. The goal is gentle muscle activation. A slow walk is enough to change glucose uptake. This is why the habit is so sustainable. It fits into ordinary life. You can walk around your neighborhood, inside your home, or even in a hallway. The body responds to motion, not perfection. Another important point is timing. Walking soon after eating is most effective because it directly influences the glucose rise. You do not need to wait an hour. A walk within the first 30 minutes after a meal creates the strongest smoothing effect. Over months, this habit improves insulin sensitivity, lowers average glucose exposure, and supports healthier body composition. It also supports sleep. Stable blood sugar during the day reduces late-night hunger and improves nighttime recovery. Many people underestimate how deeply metabolic rhythm influences sleep quality. Longevity habits are interconnected. A post-meal walk supports metabolism, brain health, vascular health, inflammation reduction, appetite stability, and even sleep. It is one of the rare habits that touches multiple longevity systems at once. In Part 3, we will bring this into a realistic daily routine, explain how to make it effortless, and why small walks may be one of the quietest ways to add years after 40. When you step back and look at longevity through the lens of daily habits, the power of the post-meal walk becomes even clearer. Most people think of aging as something that happens passively, but aging is shaped by repeated biological events. Blood sugar spikes are one of those events. They may seem small in the moment, but over years they create strain, inflammation, vascular damage, and metabolic wear. Longevity is not only about avoiding disease. It is about reducing the daily friction inside the body. A short walk after meals is one of the simplest ways to reduce that friction. It works because it aligns with human biology. Muscles are meant to move after eating. The body expects energy to be used, not stored immediately in stillness. Modern life has disrupted this pattern, creating long periods of sitting after meals, which forces the body to manage glucose without muscular support. A post-meal walk restores a natural rhythm. The beauty of this habit is that it is small enough to be repeatable. You do not need motivation. You need a routine. Think of it as closing the meal with movement, the same way you close the day with sleep. After lunch, a 10-minute walk can prevent the afternoon crash. After dinner, a gentle walk can reduce nighttime glucose exposure and support better sleep. Over time, these walks become anchors in the day. They create metabolic stability. They reduce cravings. They improve energy. They support weight regulation without obsession. They protect blood vessels quietly. They lower inflammation gradually. They support brain clarity. This is why longevity experts often emphasize that the most powerful habits are not extreme. They are the ones that touch many systems at once. A post-meal walk influences insulin sensitivity, cardiovascular health, appetite regulation, cognitive resilience, and sleep quality. Few habits are so simple and so wide-reaching. Many people ask whether they must walk after every meal. The answer is that consistency matters more than perfection. Even one walk per day is meaningful. Starting with dinner is often easiest because it also creates a calming transition into the evening. The walk does not need to be fast. It does not need to feel like exercise. It can be slow, quiet, and reflective. The body responds to muscle activation, not intensity. Another question is whether this habit works even if you already exercise. And the answer is yes, because exercise and post-meal walking serve different purposes. A workout improves fitness. A post-meal walk improves metabolic timing. It is a small daily correction that prevents glucose from rising too sharply. Even active people benefit from this rhythm. Longevity is built in timing as much as effort. The deeper message of this habit is that aging well is not about chasing complicated solutions. It is about understanding what the body needs repeatedly. After 40, the body becomes more sensitive to signals. It responds more strongly to stability, movement, recovery, and rhythm. The post-meal walk is a perfect example of a rhythm-based habit. It is a gentle reminder to the body that energy is being used, that circulation is active, that metabolism is supported. Over years, this reduces the slow accumulation of metabolic stress that accelerates aging. If you want a realistic longevity routine, it does not begin with extremes. It begins with small, repeatable actions. Eat simply. Move gently. Walk after meals. Sleep consistently. Reduce chronic stress. Stay connected. Longevity is not built in one dramatic change. It is built in ordinary days. And one of the most ordinary, powerful, and accessible habits you can begin today is this. After you eat, stand up, step outside, or walk indoors and move for 10 minutes. Let your muscles absorb energy. Let your blood sugar stay stable. Let your body experience less strain. Because a longer life is not created by rare interventions. It is created by daily maintenance. Quiet habits repeated for years. And sometimes, the simplest walk after meal is one of the strongest steps you can take toward a healthier future.